This activity gave students the opportunity to use evaluation criteria for a selection of information resources, some good, some bad. Students were assigned an information resource and used evaluation criteria to determine its worthiness. Students evaluated their site according to its authority, purpose, content, and currency. The lesson began by students identifying the key ideas from the following website, genochoice.com. The site claims to ensure that your child's life may be free of such diseases as cancer, Alzheimer's, as well as conditions like obesity, aggression, through state-of-the-art technologies. This led us to discuss the impact that the media has on our perspectives and what we believe. I modeled for students how to use the criteria to evaluate a website. I determined that this site, genochoice.com, is indeed bad. The content scope seems far-fetched, that people can specifically choose their child's genes. Also, this site claims medical benefits for one's child, but it fails to provide sound research from credible sources. In addition, the layout does not meet the expectations of a trusted site. For instance, many of the images do not load, resulting in several boxes with red X's in them. Students worked with the partner to evaluate one of the websites listed here. On this page, there are 7 good sources and 7 bad sources. Students evaluated their website using the set criteria in this chart. Next are 2 students working together to evaluate this website.
Final analysis. Okay.
On day 2 of this lesson, students used this chart to write a final analysis that would be posted to a Classroom Edmodo account. Students began the day with the Bellwork assignment answering the question, what are some things we can do to prevent the media from impacting our judgments on false pretenses? Here is a sample response from one of the students. Students logged into Edmodo using a passcode generated by the teacher. Students posted their final analysis to the Classroom Edmodo. They were instructed to read an analysis from another group, view that group's website, and leave a comment that agreed or disagreed with their evaluation by providing different or new reasoning. Here is the final analysis by the 2 students from earlier in the video for the website zapatopi.com. We designed a lesson that began with students' awareness of the 1938 radio broadcast, The War of the Worlds, which caused mass hysteria among many listeners. In fact, listeners panicked even after Orson Welles declared that the broadcast was based off of H.G. Wells' classic novel. Students began the classroom lesson with this power work question. Students had to explain why they thought listeners would still believe in the broadcast even after it was announced as fiction. This led us to a discussion about how we are impacted by the media. Students listened to the first 15 minutes of the broadcast, pausing to identify aspects that led to many listeners believing the program is real. Students decided that the use of sound effects, interruptions for important news bulletins, and interviews with professors and military personnel were just some of the reasons why the show was believed as true. After listening to the radio broadcast, students applied the skills and knowledge gained from the evaluation of information resources lesson to develop an on-demand writing piece for this prompt as part of their language arts curriculum. Here is a sample writing piece by a student involved in the lesson. Please pause if needed to read her work. After the War of the Worlds classroom activity, we designed an extension that utilized centers for answering this guiding question. There were 5 centers for this activity, each one incorporating something to do with alien existence or the unknown, and using a variety of resources. Students watched 2 animated films to reinforce plot and narrative elements. In Center 2, students read a nonfiction article. In Center 3, students watched a Twilight Zone episode while distinguishing between stated and implied information. In Center 4, students analyzed documents pertaining to Roswell, each one offering different information about what happened that day, so that students could draw their own conclusions. In the final center, students listened to a podcast that gave the testimonials from 3 witnesses of UFO sightings, where students had to make inferences based on what information was given.